Okay, good morning everybody. We wanted to show you some more of our nice videos. I think they've been running in the background for some time. So we might as well start with the proceedings. A very warm welcome to all of you here at Lingnan University. I hope you all had a very pleasant journey to get here, either in the previous days or previous weeks or even this morning coming from other parts of Hong Kong. We're very, very happy to have you all with us, and we're very excited to, very much looking forward to an exciting 2 days sharing our research with each other. My name is Professor Stefan Kühner. I'm an associate professor in the Department of Social Policy, Sociology and Social Policy, sorry. And I'm one of the local organizers of this conference. Those of you who had a look at the program will know that this is very much a joint effort, not only from Lingnan University, but also from other institutions that we have worked with a lot in the past already. I'm speaking about the Education University of Hong Kong and the South China University of Technology. So without any further ado, I wanted to welcome representatives of those three institutions just to give us some welcoming remarks. Maybe we start with Professor Carl Mock from Lingnan University. Thank you.
Dear colleagues and friends and students, a very warm welcome to Lingnan University. It's truly our honor to collaborate with the Education University of Hong Kong and South China University of Technology by founding this international conference of social policy and governance and innovations 6 years ago. So annually we will rotate by co-hosting the event, and this is our true honor. This year comes back to Hong Kong. Last year we had an enjoyable event in Guangzhou. And at the same time, this is a launch conference for newly mounted center, a joint research center, Lingnan and South China University of Technology. In March and May this year co-founded a new research center for the Greater Bay Area social policy and governance. I would like to thank Dean Wang and also Professor Huang for supporting this initiative because I think the regional development is something very close to our doorstep. And Hong Kong being a very tiny economy, the future, not only about in terms of economic development and social and cultural development in this city-state would require closer collaboration with the nearby regions. So I think I'm not the expert in urban study, but my good friend, my ex-colleague, Professor George Lee, Chair Professor of Geography in HKU, we work closely together, and he's the world-leading geographer and urban study guy. Will share with you how important about megacity development and how important about regional development opportunity. So Lingnan University is very fortunate to co-found the new joint center with South China University of Technology with a focus on Greater Bay Area social policy and governance. About a month ago, we are very fortunate again to co-found another joint research center. We focus on elderly care with Wu Yi University in Jiangmen. So again, it shows you about how important the university has taken the step in foster deeper collaboration with our partnering institution, not only from the Bay Area. And Lingnan is a very small university. We certainly acknowledge about the importance of collaboration. So today is a great honor to us to co-host the event and also have friends from different parts of the world, including our old friend from National Taiwan University. We have been talking about more collaboration in Greater China, core straight, social policy research. So in the last couple of years, the university has invested strategically in one of the areas is social policy or policy study. So today I want to present to you a booklet showing about our social policy research at Lingnan University and policy study. And we have around 20 colleagues working together within this particular area. And today, social policy and governance innovation conferences again are a great opportunity for scholars and especially young scholars to come together to discuss issues related to the core common interest that you and I are very excited about. So I would like to take this opportunity to thank my two co-organizers, the Education University of Hong Kong, particularly from APS department, and also South China University of Technology, particularly the School of Public Administration, for supporting the event. And according to our practice, next year we go back to China. So South China University of Technology will be our host next year. So I hope that you join our network, and hopefully we can see each other annually in different locations. And at the same time, we also expand and network to other institutions, including Hong Kong UST, Hong Kong U. If you are interested, we are our friends working together for a common good, not only for Hong Kong, but promoting better understanding about policies for the social policy for better human well-being in the region and beyond. And thank you very much again.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you very much for highlighting the history of this particular conference as well. I think this is not a one-off event. It's part of a series of conferences that have been going on over the last years, and it is definitely something that we want to build on and hopefully continue to grow and get more significant locally and regionally. Next, I would like to invite Dr. Kris Hartley from the Education University of Hong Kong to give a few welcome remarks. And as Professor Mok already said, Dr. Hartley is from the Department of Asian and Policy Studies at that university.
Thank you, Seth. Good morning, everybody, and welcome. My name is Kris Hartley. I'm an assistant professor at the Department of Asian and Policy Studies, as Stefan mentioned, at the Education University of Hong Kong, which is one of the three co-sponsors of this event. And so welcome to the 6th International Conference on Social Policy and Governance Innovation. It's an exciting time to be here, and I'm very happy to be a part of this. We are, of course, gathering at a time that I think we can all agree is a crucial moment for the practice and the study of social policy and governance more generally, as these conversations are being had all around the world. And I think this conference series is an opportunity to play an important part in developing that conversation and advancing it. So I look forward to sharing ideas and to hearing what others have to say. As previously mentioned on an administrative note, this conference series is a joint venture among the Education University of Hong Kong, the host institution for this year, Lingnan University, and South China University of Technology. It's been held annually since 2013, and I believe it signifies a valuable relationship among these three institutions, and also the success of this conference so far, and of course into the future, signifies a lot of the potential that we can have as collaborators. So on behalf of my institution, I want to express sincere gratitude to Lingnan University, to Professor Mok, and also to co-host South China University of Technology for organizing this year. And I look forward to further developments and collaborations among all three of these universities, all three of which appear to be developing rather quickly their capacities and their programs in social policy and public policy more generally. So I think we have three very dynamic institutions and what is undoubtedly a very positive future for the collaboration among them. Thank you all very much, and I wish you a fruitful and stimulating conference.
Thank you very much. And then last but certainly not least, Professor Wang O from the South China University of Technology.
Thank you. Dear respected Vice President, Professor Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. First of all, on behalf of School of Public Administration, South China University of Technology, please allow me to extend a warm welcome to the participants all over the world. We would also like to offer our gratitude to our partner, Lingnan University. Thank you for your efforts for preparing such a great academic gathering. For the recent years, we two parts have been dedicated to co-organize a series of academic events. Now, our joint efforts mark yet another chapter in our mutual collaborations. Finally, I would like to wish this conference a complete success. Thank you very much.
Okay, and I think with that, those of you who have gone to conferences in Hong Kong before will know it is a tradition to take photos at the beginning of every event. So I think we'll take some quick photographs, and then we can start with the first keynote speeches straight away.
Okay, smile. Okay, one, two. 3個度。
So this doesn't happen very often, but we're actually a little bit ahead of time, which means we have a little more time for the first two keynote speeches, but hopefully also for questions and discussions afterward. So it's my distinct pleasure to invite Professor Stuart Gietel-Basten from Hong Kong University of Science and Technology to give his first, not his first keynote speech, the first keynote speech at the conference. Stuart is a professor at the Division of Social Science and the Division of Public Policy at Hong Kong UST. I think he himself would probably describe himself as a demographer, and he's written widely in the field on population change, particularly fertility and the consequences of low fertility in Asia more generally. He also has a recent book out on why population matters, which I recommend you all check out if you have a chance. So again, without any further ado, my distinct pleasure to welcome Professor Gietel-Basten to give his keynote speech this morning. Welcome.
I can't sit down and speak, I'm afraid. I'm going to have to stand up. That's all right. Do I need a microphone, or can you hear me? Is that okay?
Sure.
Yeah? Is that okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, this makes me feel like I'm on stage. I mean, I am on stage, I know. But this makes me really feel nervous and uncomfortable. So, very good morning. Thank you so much for inviting me to this wonderful conference. Before I came to Hong Kong, I was in the social policy department, so it's really nice for me to be back in the social policy world as opposed to my normal daily life at UST, surrounded by engineers who think it's very straight. Well, anyway, let me go. I'm not coming to complain about engineers. I can do that back home. Oh, no. I mean, I don't. I like some of it. Anyway, I will. I'm, as Stefan said, I am a demographer who does social policy. The first thing I have to do is make a kind of an excuse. There are no data in my talk. This is just really my thoughts on this topic. One of the reasons for this, I'm afraid to say, is that getting demographic data out of the Greater Bay Area at the moment is very easy to get it out of Hong Kong. It's kind of okay to get it out of Macau. It's very difficult to get it out of Guangdong province. So there's a practical challenge in doing evidence-based demographic work in this part of the world. So really, I'm just going to be talking about some of my thoughts and considerations about these population aspects of Greater Bay, which I hope if you spend the next 2 days saying that I'm completely wrong, then that's my job is done. This is kind of what I'll be doing, talking about opportunities and the policy innovations related to population which have been put in place, then the challenges to that, and I can already see in the programme that some of the challenges that I address are actually going to be considered as part of the programme. So I think it works. I hope I'm not. But then also maybe with some kind of alternative solutions to some of these challenges. And then lastly, at the end, if I've got a moment, because of course we can't have any forum on Greater Bay without also mentioning our dear cousin, the Belt and Road initiative as well. So as a demographer, so of course if there's someone in urban studies, or you would look at this the other way around, but as a demographer I would look at demographic issues, demographic challenges first, and try to paint the picture around that. In this part of the world we are characterised by very low fertility rates, some of the lowest in the world. We're also characterised by the highest life expectancy in the world here in Hong Kong. But at the same time, of course, this is not just particular to Hong Kong. The whole region is characterised by this particular demographic characteristic. And so the consequences of this would be rapid aging. We are one of the most rapidly aging places on Earth, and that relates to institutional challenges. Okay? As a demographer, I know I shouldn't say this, but it doesn't matter how many old people there are. It doesn't matter how many people there are age 65. When you turn 65, your leg doesn't fall off, right? Nothing changes when you turn 65. But it's about the institutions, that if something happens institutionally when you're 65, you get a pension, you get social security, something like that. Population stagnation and wage inflation. Okay? So of course this is something which is much more of a Guangdong province challenge and an issue there. We see rampant wage inflation, the difficulties of trying to keep workers in Guangdong province, where of course it's much more it makes much more sense for labour-intensive industries to move away, to go to cheaper places. Now, if we look at the background causes of this, because this hasn't just materialised out of nowhere, we know that the costs of childbearing are extremely high, the expectations of education, and particularly of what you might call extracurricular education, tuition, and so on. Opportunity costs, of course, there is a very uneven gender balance. Of course, there's a natural uneven gender balance with childbearing. Men cannot have babies, but that penalty is pushed through life into the job market and into gender inequalities across the life course. And problems in the labour market, housing and so on. So it's perfectly understandable that we have this situation, that very low fertility is a rational response to the institutional policy challenges. So in my talk today, I'm going to be kind of focusing on these three areas, on ageing labour market and housing, as being one way or one lens that we could actually look at some of the population challenges and opportunities of greater labour. So of course it's very common to understand this about housing. We know that housing is a tremendous issue in Hong Kong. We know that it's linked through to family formation. It's very difficult to get started in life. It's very difficult to build relationships, to move out, to begin an independent life, if it is impossible for you to leave the family home. And of course this also has consequences on intergenerational households. And, you know, looking at this, well, we can all move to Guizhou. That's wonderful, right? We can have our 1 million yuan is going to buy us a nice house in Guizhou, whereas we'll be lucky to get like a parking space in Hong Kong for this, right? So then that's fine. Let's all move to Guizhou, right? But then, of course, the problem with that is you could say, well, by extension, well, then why don't we move to Guizhou? Or why don't we move to Laos? Or why don't we move to Syria, where housing is even cheaper still, right? So this is not really a very practical argument just based upon the cost of housing, because of course housing, there is a reason why houses are cheap in Guizhou, because there's not a lot to do in Guizhou, and people don't necessarily, I'm sorry if anybody here is from Guizhou, that would be very embarrassing. It's actually quite nice, actually, I quite like Guizhou. But there is a reason why houses are cheap there, and that's the reason. There is a reason why houses in Shenzhen are a lot more expensive than houses in Guizhou. Right? There's a lot of things going on. So this is linked through to our labour market, okay? And particularly if we are looking at a kind of a graduate job market here. Now, as we all know in Hong Kong, we have gone through a revolution in the higher education sector. Professor Mark knows more about this. I think anybody in Hong Kong, anybody certainly more than me. And we know that the number of subsidised places has increased exponentially over the years. If you look back in the 2000 policy address, the aim was to have 10 years, within 10 years, 60% of senior secondary school students receiving tertiary education. Now it's up to 70%, so that target was overpassed. We have some of the top universities in the world here, which are managing to maintain quality and to maintain standards, even though as a demographer, the number of school leavers is decreasing. Okay? So this is a bit of a challenge to create sustainability of higher education systems. However, and it won't be a surprise to most of you in this room, this is all very depressing, really, but you know, I'm so sorry to have put a mirror back to some of you in this room here. But you don't need me to tell you that salaries are going down, that there is a degree-career mismatch. We have many students every year in our university doing degrees in biomechanical engineering. There are no jobs in biomechanical engineering in Hong Kong, so if you want to get a job in that field, you have to leave. But there's also broader systems that in this university, you know, making the case for liberal arts in an environment which doesn't necessarily appreciate, in a job market that doesn't appreciate liberal arts, that wants degrees, you know, basically we should all be doing degrees in finance and accounting, and then we'll all be okay, right? So there's a problem with that in terms of limited opportunities, as economic growth perhaps slows, the jobs that people want do not match up to the jobs that are available. Our graduates do not necessarily want to work in retail. Our graduates do not necessarily want to work in tourism, but these are the jobs that need to be filled. So of course we have a degree of frustration and anxiety among university leaders. So then in response to this, we have these two different approaches. Okay, this is one quote here to say that, to put these two things together. So the shortage and high cost of land supply were the major causes of housing problems in Hong Kong. Due to the close proximity to GBA, encouraging some people who work in Hong Kong to live in Greater Bay is one of the most promising and cost-effective ways. Okay? So this is one approach, that you live in outside of Hong Kong and then you work in Hong Kong. But as we've seen, that doesn't really solve our problems because the jobs are not really here in Hong Kong. The aspiration, there is this mismatch between jobs and aspirations. So then there's the other way. There is, okay, well, you go and live in Greater Bay area. You live in, essentially, we are talking about Guangdong province here. Right? There's no point keep saying Greater Bay. We're talking about Guangdong province. Right? You go and live and work in Guangdong province, and there are many initiatives that have been brought together. This is sort of work with Chinese U. They have this kind of speaker series. And you can see here the road to workplace mobility helped by economic cooperation opens up exciting opportunities for career progression. Okay, this is real opportunity of seeing these jobs and this housing to be had in this part of Guangdong province. And of course, there is policy innovation in this area as well. And it's a push and pull policy. In classic migration theory, we think there is certainly push and pull. We know that the Hong Kong government is bringing in various different policies to support, to encourage, or at least encourage young people in Hong Kong or working in Hong Kong to think about working in Guangdong province, and this is either from the Home Affairs Bureau, Labour Department, Youth Development Commission. So, with all these things, just because there are a lot of policies, it doesn't mean they're necessarily very big or very good, but they exist. Okay, there is a policy framework in terms of encouraging this cross-border labour migration. But then on the other hand, we also have these pull policy innovation being developed in Guangdong province as well. Zhuhai, of course, is particularly active in this area. These are just a sample of some of the projects here, some of the policies here. This is in Shenzhen, and of course in Guangzhou. And if you go onto the government's Greater Bay Area site, there are, I would actually say, hundreds of these kinds of policies. We're trying to, thinking about and considering this idea of working and moving across the border. Here you can see there's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 between the end of July and the beginning of September. Right? So we're really piling in now with these new different policy innovation. So that's the first area, is terms of work and housing. The second area is work. Then the third area we could think of a challenge and an opportunity would be in terms of aging, right? Population aging, which is perceived to be this kind of existential threat, this major policy challenge. Okay? I don't think it is, but we can talk about that later on. So in Hong Kong, to a certain degree, we do have some fundamental problems relating to age. There is no real plan at the moment to manage long-term care. There is no real plan to think about what's going to happen in the future when we inevitably go down the path of Japan, and we will have a tremendous increase in the number of people with dementia, Alzheimer's, the number of people requiring long-term health and social care. We do not have a plan for that. We don't have a plan for this. We are going to rely on migrant domestic workers. And all it takes is a sweep of the pen in Shenzhen or Beijing or Shanghai and there's a possibility that that model will sweep into the end, disappear. So we've got a problem. Our central waiting list for subsidised care is very, very long. If you're rich,